Namaste and welcome everyone. The topic we are going to discuss today is conditionals. What is a conditional? A conditional is a sentence or a part of sentence that expresses a condition. It usually begins with the words if, when, and unless. A condition is what must happen before something else can happen. Let's see an example. If it rains, I shall stay at home. In this sentence, if it rains is the if clause and I shall stay at home is the main clause. You can also call it consequence clause or the result clause. If this happens, then consequently this will happen. If it rains, I shall stay at home. You can either write the if clause in the beginning or you can write it later. The order of the two clauses is interchangeable. But if the if clause comes first, it must be followed by a comma. Like in this sentence, if it rains, comma, I shall stay at home. You need to put a comma here. Or, I shall stay at home if it rains. There is no need to put comma here. There are 4 types of conditional sentences. They are classified according to the degree of probability they express. Each type uses different tenses to show the difference in the degree of probability. The 4 types of conditional sentences are zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and the third conditional. Zero conditional. We use zero conditional when we talk about things which are generally true or which are scientific facts. Also, it is used to express automatic or habitual result. Let's see the structure of zero conditional. In the if clause, we have simple present tense, and in the main clause also we have simple present tense. Both the clauses can be placed interchangeably. You can put the if clause before the main clause or main clause before the if clause. You have to remember that in zero conditional, in both the clauses, we have simple present tense. Let's see some examples of zero conditional. First, if you freeze water, it becomes solid. We have simple present in the if clause and simple present in the main clause as well. Second example, if you heat ice, it melts. Again, you can see simple present in the if clause and simple present in the main clause. Next example, if or when there is a shortage of any product, prices of that product go up. In both the clauses, we have simple present tense. So in zero conditional, we use simple present tense in both the clauses when we are talking about general truths, scientific truths, or to express automatic or habitual result. We use first conditional when we talk about possible future events. The verb in the if clause is in the simple present tense and the verb in the main clause is in the future simple. It does not matter which clause comes first. Let's see the structure of first conditional. In the if clause, we have simple present tense, and in the main clause, we have simple future, that is, will, shall plus verbs first form. You can either put the if clause before the main clause or vice versa. Here are some examples of first conditional. First, if she comes, I'll go with her. We have simple present in the if clause and simple future in the main clause. Next example, if it rains, I shall stay at home. So there is simple present in if clause and simple future in the main clause. These sentences imply that the action in the if clause is quite probable. They express an open condition and a possible situation. Here are some possible variations of the main clause in the first conditional. In the main clause, instead of will or shall plus verb's first form, we can also have may or might plus infinitive, which expresses possibility. For example, if the lockdown continues, they may postpone the program. Or, in the main clause, we can have may or can plus infinitive, which expresses permission or ability. Example, if it stops raining, you can go out. Or, in the main clause, we can have must or should plus infinitive expressing command or advice. For example, if you want good grades, you should study more. Second conditional. The situation or condition in second conditional is improbable, imaginary, or contrary to known facts. Let's see the structure of second conditional. The verb in the if clause is in the past tense and the verb in the main clause is in the conditional tense. In the if clause, we have simple past and in the main clause we have would plus infinitive, that is verb's basic form. We use the second conditional when we don't expect the action in the if clause to take place. For example, I would be surprised if I saw fish in the sky. It is very unlikely for me to see fish in the sky. The second conditional is also used when we are talking about things which are contrary to the present facts. For example, if he studied, he would pass. But in reality, he does not study. The second conditional, like the first conditional, refers to the present or future. And the past tense in the if clause of the second conditional is not a true past, but a subjunctive, which indicates unreality or improbability. The second conditional expresses an unreal situation and its improbable result. If I were you, I would study, but I'm not you. If I were a bird, I would fly. So, this is improbable. Here are some examples of first conditional. First, if she comes, I'll go with her. We have simple present in the if clause and simple future in the main clause. Next example, if it rains, I shall stay at home. So there is simple present in if clause and simple future in the main clause. These sentences imply that the action in the if clause is quite probable. They express an open condition and a possible situation. Third conditional. We use the third conditional when we talk about things which are contrary to the past facts. The verb in the if clause is in the past perfect tense and the verb in the main clause is in the perfect conditional. The time in this conditional is past and the condition cannot be fulfilled because the action in the if clause did not happen. Let's see the structure of the third conditional. In the if clause, we have past perfect tense, that is, had plus verbs third form, and in the main clause, we have would plus have plus verbs third form. Both the clauses can be placed interchangeably. Let's see some examples of third conditional. If she had come, I would have gone with her. But what really happened was that she did not come. Next example. If you had studied, you would have passed. But what really happened was that he did not study. So you can see that in the if clause, we have past perfect tense, that is, had plus verbs third form, and in the main clause, we have would plus have plus past participle, that is, verbs third form. Let's see the possible variations of main clause of the third conditional. Could or might may be used instead of would. Let's see some examples. If we had found him earlier, we could have saved his life. Here, could expresses ability. Next example. If we had found him earlier, we might have saved his life. Might here expresses possibility. Let's see one more example. You could have arrived on time if you had used a map. Let's see examples of all the conditionals together. First sentence. If he studies, he passes the exam. There is a general time reference and it is zero conditional. Second sentence. If he studies, he will pass the exam. This is possible to happen. So it is first conditional. Third sentence. If he studied, he would pass the exam. But in reality, he does not study. This is unlikely to happen. So it is second conditional. Fourth sentence. If he had studied, he would have passed the exam. But what really happened was that he did not study, so he did not pass the exam. So it is third conditional.
Thank you.